Hey guys, it's Dr. May. How you doing today? I'm coming to you here from my DBT studio, aka guest room, and I'm going to talk about a topic that's going to be really helpful if you give it a chance. It's called problem solving for emotions, and it's part of our emotion regulation module. Okay, so I'm going to give you some examples, and we're going to review that in a lot of detail today. All right, so emotion regulation, we'll do a quick review. So emotion regulation are a set of skills that help us manage our emotions better. Chances are if you made it to DBT, you've been struggling with your emotions. Maybe they feel like they're too intense and they last too long and they're controlling your life or they're ruining your life. All right. So this helps us deal with our emotions more effectively, helps to keep them a little calmer, maybe shift the way we feel. Okay. So today's skill is going to help us do that. All right. So problem solving for emotions. Now, I'm sure you've heard about problem solving before, but this one's specifically for emotions. So it's about identifying what you're feeling and then taking some steps to change that feeling by changing the situation. Okay, so this is more of a change skill rather than an acceptance skill. All right, so this is a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing, a little bit of a sarcastic thing that they came up with in DBT. All right, so these are options for dealing with problems. So if you think about it, these are actually kind of true. So one, we're going to attempt to solve the problem. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on today, the problem-solving aspect of what we can do when we have a problem. But, sometimes it's not actually possible to solve something, or at least not right now, all right? So when that's the case, we need to try to radically accept the problem, all right? And if you remember, radical acceptance is a distress tolerance skill. So if you want more information about that, you can look into that. Okay, you could also change the way you feel about the problem, so instead of being as upset about it, maybe you could feel a little differently about it. Or you could just keep staying miserable about it. You could keep complaining about it. Or you could even react in a way that makes the problem worse. All right, so let's give an example of how this can operate. All right, so at the hospital where I work, people often complain about some peers on the ward that are maybe acting in an inappropriate way. Maybe they're more agitated, they're not regulated on their meds, they're yelling and screaming, they're creating a ruckus, they're making it hard for people to sleep at night because they're so loud, they're intrusive, there's all kinds of stuff that goes on, and there's always somebody, it seems, that you could complain about, right? And you may not be able to solve that problem because maybe, the person just is sick right now, and no matter what you say or do, that person's just going to keep being the way they are, okay? So you might have to, let's say, radically accept that this person is just sick right now. They're just yelling and screaming. They're acting in ways that I don't particularly like, right? So when I'm more grounded in that truth and that reality, then it might help me to change how I feel about it. So maybe instead of being mad at the person, when I realize their behavior is not personal and that they're probably suffering too because their mental illness is out of control, maybe I could feel more empathy. Or, maybe I could even deal with it with a sense of humor. Like, oh God, look at that guy again. Look what he's doing. Isn't that nuts? Right? Maybe I could actually laugh about it instead of just being super serious and angry about it. Alternatively, I could just keep whining and complaining about it, telling everyone I know how much I can't stand this guy and how much he's behaving inappropriately. So I could still do that too. Maybe it's not going to be like the most effective thing for me in terms of me trying to feel better, but I could still do it. It's a choice, right? Or I can make the problem worse, right? I could be like, I'm not taking this crap anymore. I'm going to tear up the ward. I'm going to carry on myself and show people just how mad I am, right? Or maybe I'm going to go and punch the guy and just show him how much I can't stand his behavior. But guess what? I just made it worse because now they're looking at me and I'm getting in trouble and I'm suffering a consequence. You know what I'm saying? So it just made the whole thing worse. So ideally, skillfully, the first three things are what you want to focus on in terms of coping with the problems that come your way. All right, so today we're going to focus obviously on number one, because, if it's possible to fix the problem, why not try to fix it, right? Some things actually, are possible to change, and we could take certain steps to make that happen, okay? All right, so here's some steps that they suggest for solving emotion-related problems. Okay, so first you got to identify what it is. All right, try to do this in an objective way. rather than you know, an opinionated, judgmental way, but just kind of write a sentence or two and try to define it. Then identify your goal and what you want to accomplish if you solve this problem. Okay, so what do you actually want to happen? There might be actually different options for what could happen and different opinions about what may make it better. So you need to be clear about that. Then, you know, brainstorm some possible solutions. You know, sometimes it's more than one thing that could help or that's worth trying. So make a list. You know, try to think of different things. Then, you know, pick one and try it out. Try to pick the one that you think is going to work the best. All right, make your best guess about that. And then chances are there's multiple steps involved in doing that solution. So start to take some steps toward that solution. And if that doesn't work, try a new solution. Okay, just go to plan B. No big deal. Excuse me, got a little tickle there. All right, so I'm going to give you a few different examples of how we could problem solve for specific emotions and situations that spur on those specific emotions. So let's start with fear, okay? So let's say the problem is, you know, you're living, maybe because, you know, for various reasons, you're living in a neighborhood where there's a higher crime rate. Maybe it's not the safest neighborhood. Maybe that's all you could afford right now, or just where you happen to grow up, right? So you're feeling a little fearful of living in your neighborhood, and that's creating an ongoing anxiety for you. So you want to try to solve that problem maybe, okay? So let's say my goal is I want to feel safe and I want to avoid getting hurt, okay? So there's a variety of things I could do that might help solve that problem. So one is I can move to a different neighborhood, you know, if it's possible. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Maybe I'll just choose to not go outside alone after dark. Maybe I'll try to go out with a friend, you know, or carry a cell phone with me. So just in case I have a problem, I could always quickly reach out to somebody or call 911. Maybe I can make my apartment safer by getting an alarm system. And that'll make me feel easier, you know, more at ease at night when I'm home. Maybe I could sleep more easily because I know that there's an alarm system, or maybe I'll install better locks on my doors and/or windows just so I feel more secure. Okay, so those could be possible things we could try. And maybe if I feel a little safer, I'll feel less fear. All right, so I'll pick one of those, or maybe more than one, but maybe for the sake of argument, we'll start with one at a time. And then I'll start to put it into action by taking necessary steps. Okay, so all of these things, if you think about it, involve a variety of steps. So I got to get started somewhere. So for example, like if I want to get an alarm system, I have to do some research. I have to figure out maybe what alarm system I want. I got to contact the company. I got to set an appointment for the person to come to my house, maybe give me an estimate. I have to set a time for them to install it. You know, see how I'm saying? Like there's different steps that are involved. So I gotta be willing to make the time to make these things happen. Okay, and you know, if I want to do more than one solution or more than one, you know, try more than one of those things, I could do that. Okay, but you got to start somewhere. So take that first step. All right, so we're going to do another example. So let's say we'll do problem solving for sadness. Okay, so let's say I had that adorable little puppy and he ran away and I lost my dog, and I'm heartbroken because he's so cute. Look at him, he's adorable. So the problem is I'm sad because my dog ran away. What's my goal? I want to get my dog back. Okay, so what are some things I could try? So maybe if he just ran away, I could start driving around town to look for the dog. Okay, maybe I could kind of go in a radius around where I'm living and see where he went. Maybe go to his favorite park, see if he found his way there. Okay, maybe I could start asking neighbors if they saw my dog. If more time passed and I can't find the dog, maybe I could make some flyers and start posting them around. Maybe somebody will say, oh my God, I saw that dog, I'll call her, right? You know, so that's worth it. Maybe I could call local animal shelters to see if someone did find the dog and turn him in. Maybe he's just sitting there in a cage, just lonely, waiting for me. Maybe I could ask some friends to help me find him, okay? So there's different things I could try. So I'll pick a solution, start to put the solution into action by taking one step at a time, okay? So for example, if I want to make flyers, first I gotta design a flyer, then I gotta start printing the flyers, then I have to make sure I have tape and staples, and I go around town and start to put them up, right? I gotta find time to do that, maybe find people to help me do that, okay? So all these little steps have to happen, and I gotta stay focused on my goal of getting my dog back to motivate me to accomplish all these steps, okay? All right, now we'll do one more because I don't want to go too crazy with too many examples and make you bored. All right. So anger. All right. So anger is always a big issue. So let's say the problem is, and this happens a lot inpatient, but if you live in the community, it might happen in a different context, maybe a party or high school or whatever. Okay. So inpatient where I work, a lot of people complain that peers are touching them inappropriately, in ways that they don't like. So let's say I feel angry because a peer keeps touching me and I don't want to be touched. Okay. So my goal is I just want this person to leave me alone. I want them to stop touching me. Okay. So how could I start to make this happen? Maybe first I could directly address the peer and just tell them specifically, like, knock it off. Stop touching me. I don't want to be touched. And I can be super clear about it. Or I could tell staff, maybe staff could help intervene and talk to that person. Maybe they could help keep that person away from me, or find a space for me to go to stay away from that person. Okay. If all else fails, maybe I could have some books with me, because sometimes we're allowed to have books inpatient, and I could always make sure we block the peer's attempts to touch me by holding up a book or some kind of object to prevent the peer from reaching out. Another solution, and this is a little bit not something I would want you to do, but I might just say, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to smack them around and show them that I don't want to be touched. Okay, maybe that's going to make it worse. That's also a number 5 kind of thing here, but it might be a solution that's running through my mind. Okay, obviously we don't want to get violent, but anyway, so I'll choose one of those solutions. It's likely to work, and I'll start to put the solution into action. Okay, and for this case, it might be something that we have to do a broken record on and repeat it a few different times, or maybe many different times. Like I might have to tell the peer, be committed to telling the peer over and over again, stop touching me, stop touching me, I don't want to be touched. I might have to go to the staff a few times to remind them, please try to keep this peer away from us. Okay, so I might want to, remember that I have to be persistent and consistent in trying to solve this problem for anger. Okay, so that's the scoop. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I hope those examples help to make it clearer for you guys. All right, so remember, if it's possible to solve a problem, get your willingness going and try to solve it. All right, and if you need help from somebody to do that or some feedback, feel free to reach out. Okay, so good luck with that, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye now.